All right, and we're back. So, part 2 of the Continue podcast, we'll talk about everything we loved about Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. So, take it away, Japs. You go first. Form a queue.
I can start.
Go on then.
Yeah,
that's why we're all looking at you.
I've got notes.
Yeah, I've
Turn
got
my
notes.
phone off.
I was buying some time. I've just realised everything I've got to say. I'm really good at negative opinions, just in life generally. So positive is a stretch for me.
Do you want me to kick off? Or
Go on.
Reverse the negatives, and you'll have a positive.
What I want to say is, like, this game plays pretty much exactly the same as the first game, and the things I really liked about the game from the first time is double guns. It's just an orgy of violence, isn't it? This game, and if that can be quite fun. Not that I'm saying that necessarily an orgy of violence in real life is a good thing, but in this game, it's pretty good. You've got double guns. You've got a hell of a lot of guns. And some of them are quite fun, aren't they?
And they give you new guns.
Yeah,
there's
constantly.
But there's a lot of new guns that weren't in the first game.
Yeah, there's like the pistol that's got the.
Dave, I checked.
There are. There's like the pistol that fires kind of rockets.
Yeah, the camp pistol, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I can't quite remember.
And I like you've got double shotguns. I love that. You've got like and it's nice to have double guns. Again, it'd be good to have one.
How many times have you said double guns?
Double guns.
That's it. I wanted a shotgun and a machine gun.
So this you cannot do. You cannot choose to have in one hand one gun, and it has to be double or nothing. Basically,
I like the accessories you get with the guns. Like you get the I can't remember what it is, but it's like a rifle, and then you get the scope, and you can flick the scope up and down.
A lot of them have got alternative fires as well, which is really cool.
And it's fluid. It runs really quick.
It's really satisfying to shoot people.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah, good shooting mechanics.
And I like the destruction of the people. Like you can see blow their heads clean off, and like this stuff like that.
Especially when you have the more powerful guns, so you can get like the Wolfenstein traditional sawn-off shotgun, and that does the damage where you want it to do the damage. And the build up to that gun is quite good as well.
Just on the point of blowing people's heads off and stuff like that, I do think the games actually have a
tell us more.
Games have a responsibility, I think, to show us exactly what war is really like. So
it's exactly like this.
It's about giant dogs attacking people.
Yeah. Well, I think if they hold back the gore and the violence, then I think they are censoring children.
You want to see
who will save the children, Dave? Who will save them?
Yeah, exactly. They need to know exactly what it's like.
Dave's children just like hanging in the background. Games. Shut up.
Yeah, what are you crying for? Christ!
You can have tea next
about
week.
3 hours ago.
Stop playing Minecraft.
What did we all think of one of the new mechanics that's added, which is the wall climb with the pipe? So you get a pipe early on, and this pipe is like it does everything you'd want a pipe to do and more.
I didn't mind it, but it was well, you said it before when we were talking about it, but it was overused. I think that was the issue.
So you use it to climb up. There's in the tradition of video games, there's like sometimes the walls look a bit unstable and you can whack them through, or sometimes they look a bit like they're a bit crusty and you can climb up those bits.
Yeah,
and it's so
very signposted.
It's so signposted. It's not.
Do you think that they do that to sort of? It's less about a new game mechanic and more about a way of developing the maps. In the sense that we don't just have to chuck a ladder here to get them up there. We can just give them this new.
But they could have just put a ladder there, couldn't they? That's
they could.
I think they wanted to give you. It's like the crowbar in Half-Life.
God damn it! That's in my notes.
Too late. You had
I was saying it. Biding my time. I'm gonna knock them all dead with my crowbar reference.
Too late.
There is actually a crowbar at one point in the game. I'm like, why don't you just grab the crowbar off?
Yeah.
I think that might come in really useful. But no. Oh, and also the pipes, you can use them like a crowbar in that you can open doors with it too. Sometimes.
And also, how porous is that rock? Because to actually
it's because BJ's such a man.
Yeah, but he's going to graze his skin as well because he's got no top on. I suppose he's made of ham anyway, so if you put him on the barbecue, you can have like steaks. But I think the
steak and BJ day.
Steak and BJ.
There you go.
That's your weekend sorted.
Fuck yeah.
And then Hitler turns up. Oh come on, no, not now.
It's just too perfect.
I thought the pipe was okay. It was quite an interesting mechanic. I think I like the way that they kind of tried something a bit different with this sort of stealth mechanic. They at least thought about, and I think the way, like for example, when you're in the boat and you're going from section to section, even though it felt quite scripted, it was quite well designed. You felt like you were moving from different areas rather than just going, I'm going on a bit, stop, kill a load of guys.
And also that bit was slightly less signposted than the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Because you're not just following a corridor. There were, slightly less scripted.
Yeah.
But there were a couple of routes you could take and it didn't just say go in this direction with a massive arrow. You had to work out for yourself.
I think it plays along quite well. I mean, it flows. It's like, I think it is very, very scripted. And we'll come on to that in a bit. But I think I've played much worse shooters than this.
Name 100 of them.
No pressure, do it now.
We'll wait.
The Conduit on Wii.
One.
I'm not going to name
Conduit 2.
Conduit 2. Definitely Conduit 2.
Anyway, let's not name 100 shooters.
We'll come back to this. Tune into part 17.
Join us in 2017.
Harvey Oswald.
He was a pretty good shooter.
He was.
If
you believe that.
One of the main points of the thing it throws in your face over and over, and this kind of, for me, it's on the edge of positive and negative bits, is when you've got to go into these stealth sections where you've got to get 2 commanders. And if you get them before anyone sees you, you can stop a load of bad guys coming into the area. If they do see you, then they chuck a load of bad guys at you, and you still have to kill the commanders.
Yes.
Now, I like this, and I hate it at the same time. And also, I think that it's probably thrown at you too often. But the first few times you do it, I really enjoyed it. So you actually can sneak around. You've got silenced pistols. You can kill the commanders. You can see where they are because you've got like a little. You can see where they are basically.
How far away they are.
Roughly where they are.
So you can sneak around, and the guys, like the other soldiers who aren't these commanders, will walk past you, and you can hide in like a little bit of an enclosure, and then you can get out and stab them in the back and stuff. So you can, with practice, do these bits.
Yeah.
And it is quite satisfying when you do it. But I know that we probably also want to revisit this when we come to talk about the negative side. But I quite like some of them, but some of them areas, some of them were good, well designed, and some of them felt unfair. But the well-designed ones I actually liked.
Yeah, I think the mechanic actually it made you play differently. So, to a certain extent, it made you sort of think about like trying that stealth option. That was quite clever in a way. And I like the way in this game, which actually felt more than the previous game, that they were hiding more. They were kind of like concealing themselves more. They got a bit smarter in the way that they. Especially if you alerted one of them, did you find that they would run and hide?
Yeah, they actually do run.
They run and hide, and you've got to get to them. There's a bit like later in the game where there is a big open square, and the first time I came down, there was 2 of those big robots, these massive robots with like chain guns, and they're just going to like cane the crap out of you. And I ran in first and thought, oh well, I'll do what I usually do, which is just lob everything I've got at them and see what happens. Died pretty much instantly, and then. So I snuck around the side, climbed up this tower, took out one of the guys, then rope line down, shot the other one, and got out. And it was like that felt really satisfying. Actually, it was like I'd worked out the route, one of the routes that they.
That's the exact same route I did, and it was really good.
Yeah.
Did any of you question who was GPS tagging these commanders?
Yeah.
Well,
and how does he know? Like, he's got the app out.
Yeah. Well, he's not even wearing a shirt. Where is he keeping all this technology?
He's just got 17 guns strapped to his back.
There's a really funny bit, isn't there, when she goes in, she goes, no, don't go in the bar with all your guns, and he opens up the
Pachunk. Sorry, that was my second lol of the game. Was that bit? So the shirt off. It all happened in that area where I laughed.
There is some really good sort of campy dialogue in this game, like there was in the first game.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that keeps up tradition because it's always kind of been a bit like that, isn't it? Wolfenstein.
Yeah, there's a really good bit in that, just around that bit with the nurse. You go and see this nurse. And
is this the Cockney one?
Yeah, and she goes, Wesley spilled beer all over me Bristols. What a clumsy twig.
I'll tell you what, that voice actress is getting some work in the next Assassin's Creed game. She is a shoo-in.
She'll be like 17 different characters.
Yeah, exactly. She'll be Dickens.
She's going to be bold bloke number 4.
I've just written a book about Romeo and Juliet. It's well good.
Look at this Chaffinch and this Chaffinch.
Sorry, can I just clarify? I know the difference between Shakespeare and Dickens. I promise you, I did go to school.
Oh dear God.
Oh. Sorry, I've shamed myself. I'll have to go.
Yeah. Get out.
Other good points of the game. Any more?
What do you think of the graphics?
They're not world beating, but they're good.
I actually liked. I'm sort of. Whether this is we consider this actually some DLC or like almost a brand new game. But I liked the look of it all in general, like the design of the levels and stuff like that. I was actually quite impressed with, and they weren't all very samey. Like I think I was kind of expecting it to be the same kind of look of corridors and things like that across the whole game, when actually each chapter was a very different look, which I quite liked.
It's because it did itself a favour by having the first bit set in like a castle, and you go to other areas for the other bits. So there is naturally a bit of variation, I guess.
I think the bit where you're coming up the cable car into Castle, that's really nice. It looks like proper kind of like, wow, that looks really good. And like the rest of the game, I mean, it's a bit patchy in parts. I mean, I think we were talking, weren't we? Like the two parts.
You were talking?
I know.
Just something we do.
When we're in bed.
Whoa! No talking happens in there.
Hitler was there. He was like, what did you think of it? German accent. But the two parts, this game split into two parts, and it definitely does feel like there's a massive change of pace between them. And there's actually a real difference in the kind of visual look to it, isn't it? Really, you come out of you're in Castle Wolfenstein mostly in the first one. And you come out and you're in the village for most of the second one, and it feels and looks different. Yeah,
so in the second section, there's whole new enemy types.
Right. Yeah.
You also drive a mech, and it just feels completely different. It does have the feeling. I suspect originally this was two separate DLCs, which they've mushed together to sell as a product. But one of the things I was going to talk about was, like you say, the scenery and the environments are all quite different. Yeah. Which is quite refreshing. Sometimes with the DLC, in quotes, they do recycle old assets, etc.
Well, actually, let's look at First Light as an example, because First Light is basically the version of this for Infamous, and that was basically the exact same. You're in the exact same kind of situation.
Yeah.
It's not. It was. It's still good. I still liked it, but I just kind of think. It was nothing new. Whereas I did appreciate that from the old one.
Destiny's doing the exact same for better or worse. It's recycling for its new stuff. You can kind of go into the raids that used to exist and see them from a different mode of play and stuff. I've kind of seen that already.
What do we think about the story?
Well,
does anyone come?
You said that was so leading. What do you think of the story? Resident Evil 4 salesman, I love him.
What are you selling?
But
what do you want?
But does anyone come to Wolfenstein for the story?
No.
Surely not.
They come for the shooting.
They come to shoot Nazis and
see
climb up walls with pipes. That's what they come for.
I don't really know what. It was stuff, wasn't it? It was kind of like he was going there and he was doing this and that, the other. I mean, I think we'll come to some of the reviews later on, but some of the people said that there wasn't really the sort of character development in this one. I personally don't think there was a very good character development in the first one.
BJ Blazkowicz has no shirt on. That's all the character development you need to know about it.
With a game that's 5 hours long, you haven't got time to tell much of a story, because I know 5 hours is plenty of time, but most of that you are playing a game. So you've only really got the cutscenes, because they don't tell story, certainly within these types of games, they don't tell story within the gameplay. Yeah. So you're basically relying on the cutscenes to tell a story, of which, you get a couple of minutes worth. I mean, what can you really say?
I hate cutscenes these days. I just feel like, you do that thing when you do a cutscene goes in and then it cuts, and then you've got this little loading time. You're like, and then you're thrown back in. Like, it's like a real jarring mix.
It's quick. It's not quite. It's not done in engine, is it? It's actually like a little bit of FMV comes in as the old parlance.
They do sometimes do that bit where you can still walk around the room whilst they're talking.
Yeah,
and actually
I like that. What I like to do there is like jog or crouch.
I like to go and like raid their house.
Well, actually, there's a point in this where you're talking to the nurse, and I only found out right at the last part of the conversation that I can go and sit on a chair and stuff like that.
What?
Last I listened to her,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
She's talking about her Bristol. Oh God! I'm going down West Ham next week.
You sound just like Danny Dyer.
Speaking of cutscenes, I don't know whether this will go into the good section of the podcast or the bad
It's
section.
going in the good section as you're raising it right now.
Probably does belong in the good section. No sex scenes.
Yeah.
So in the first game there were two.
I was expecting a sex scene.
Count them. Two. What? Hang on. Are you suggesting there is a sex scene?
No.
Oh, okay. That's the way you said. I thought maybe I missed one.
That was
like hasty people playing to go skip.
That side mission on Wolfenstein.
Jack's just all the colours.
What? You not see the toilet where there's those guys inside?
Sorry, I need to play this right now.
Flushable sex scene.
Yeah. So there's no. If you're coming to Wolfenstein for the well-written like erotica. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
there's none in this.
And the sex scenes in the first one were really weird, weren't they? They're like just kind of sort of strangely happening. There's one that was like a comedy one later on, wasn't there?
Yeah. On the train, weren't they?
Yeah.
I didn't. Well, the train one. I didn't feel like the comedy one. The comedy.
No,
one
yeah,
was
it was
like,
the earlier
comedy
oh,
one.
those
Back of the
guys are
base.
at it again.
Yeah. And he was like banging on the wall. It's like, this is odd.
Yeah.
Don't think we really need it, but
This is for
thankfully-
YouTube hits.
Yeah. Thankfully, there was
Didn't
no...
work for us.
Yeah.
We've
I did look it up.
So
we've not mentioned the biggest positive of this game is that it is literally 12 or 15 quid,
Yeah.
and it feels like a full price game to a certain
Yeah.
The
extent.
box, look, it's right here.
I mean, let's compare it to the Order, for
I
example.
disagree with you on that.
Yeah, but the
mate.
Order was like the same length as
Yeah.
this game,
No, it wasn't.
and it was 50 quid.
quid,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was.
You
it was.
ordered
It was.
No, it wasn't.
You
No,
ordered.
the Order.
Oh, right, yeah. You ordered the band then.
The Order 1886.
Oh, the Order.
The Order.
Oh,
1886.
sorry. I was thinking New Order. I was thinking no, New Order.
It's very confusing.
This is really
I'm getting all
confusing.
confused.
Wolfenstein: The New Order was the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
game.
Yeah, no,
I'm
no,
talking
no.
about 1886.
Because New Order.
Oh, The Order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, no, you're right with that. But at least the Order kind of had some other stuff to offer. I don't believe it was worth that much
No.
money. I think this is reasonably priced. I don't think it's a necessarily good value though.
Dave, I disagree with you.
Okay.
Well,
I think-
let's save that till we.
Yeah.
Save
Well,
it
you
for
can
outside.
finish your point.
Yeah.
You can finish your point. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, you have to remember this. So when this came out, it was like, I think it was 14 quid new, and that price has come down to about 12 quid now, a few
Yeah.
weeks after release. And it is a fully formed game. It's 5, 6, 7 hours. And
I'd say it's
well,
decent value.
we need to talk about what it involves in those hours because I kind of think.
well, we know
Yeah.
we know you didn't like it because you came.
But
off
we'll
the
have to
back
get,
of,
we'll get down
that
to
one.
the conclusion.
Well,
Yeah.
all right, so let us
Alright.
leap.
Keep your powder dry.
This is the end of part 2, the good bits. Let's leap into part 3. We're going to talk everything about
I'm literally going to
Wolfenstein that we hate. Dave's going to explode like the Hulk. All right, we'll be back after this.